Hi, thank you for watching this video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Physicians Formula Powder Palette in multicolor bronzer in the light bronzer shade. Now, this is actually quite a misnomer because I'd consider my skin light to maybe a light medium. This is not a bronzer for me. This actually very closely matches my skin color. As with a lot of Physicians Formula products, they have the brush inside the case. So you push this and it sort of springs open, and then you lift it out and there's the brush. Now I like that they have a mirror on the bottom because you can see the product from the top, so when it's in your drawer you don't have to open it to see what color it is if you have multiple colors, which I'll get to it in a minute why you might want that. But the problem with this is on the bottom there's all these holes. So if your brush has a lot of bronzer on it and you stick it in there, it's all going to come out into your purse. So I do not like that part. Let me just swirl that around for you and you will see why I do not think this is an actual bronzer. This is literally about the color of my skin. Now I am Asian, but my skin is relatively white and pink based for Asian skin. But this is probably this, as summer comes, is going to become my foundation. It's just going to become my foundation. These darker colors right here, they are darker, however, they are red based, which means that you're going to sort of get that Oompa Loompa look if you try to contour just with those colors. The more ashy colors are just, in my case, just basically my skin color. I like the pink. I would say that the pink would make a nice light blush if used alone, but I doubt anyone's really gonna be picking up the little bit of color in there and trying to put that on their cheeks. It's just not gonna happen. It's a very nice color. This entire palette is actually quite light. It's not very pigmented. The color actually it's just a little bit too powdery for my taste as well. Alright, now I would say that this will actually be a decent foundation for me personally. But this is why I'm going to say, for people with skin tones that are, not ultra fair, you might actually want to pick up 2 of these. Now, these are about, I think, $12 to $16, depending on where you got it. And, they're really cool to look at because they have this mosaic thing going on. I do use the lid to sort of tap off the extra powder and whatnot, so I swirl my brush in there and then swirl it on the lid to tap off excess powder. As I mentioned, it's very powdery and a lot of product does come out when you swirl the brush in there. That might just be though because this included brush is a coarser brush, so if you're using your higher quality brushes, you might have less powder fall out. But anyway, so this, I like it. Don't get me wrong, and Physicians Formula always has great products. And if you look at the ingredients, you've got talc, mica, etc. So it is not talc free, there's talc in there and everything, but in terms of ingredients, I don't really see anything too objectionable. I mean, it's a powder. Okay, now this does feel creamy. I know everyone's talking about how eyeshadows feel creamy, and this does feel creamy. Don't take my saying that there's a lot of fallout when you swirl the brush as my saying is chalky. It's not. It's creamy. It feels nice on the skin. These particles are very finely milled. So this is a higher quality, in terms of the particle size. I do prefer things that are finely milled. However, the smaller you mill the particles, the less the color pigmentation. So that's something to keep in mind. With this Physicians Formula product, it is, it's, I'd say mid to small size particles. So there's not as much coverage as might be gotten with, larger particles. However, they did pack a lot of pigment into this. It is quite opaque. So anyway, that's my review of the Physicians Formula powder palette in multicolor bronzer. This is the light bronzer shade. And that's it. Again, I like the powder. It's a light, airy texture. The fallout is a bit much. The color is a bit lighter, but then again, that's more of a personal thing. What the color is optimal for you. And I don't know. I don't like this packaging. It's bulky. The powder's gonna fall out the bottom. And I feel like it's gonna, in my purse, you know, something's gonna hit the side. It's gonna sort of pop open. See that? You hit the side and it pops open. And of course, this piece of plastic might fall off, because that's happened several times to my compacts, where the clear plastic, you know, either the closing bit or the hinge just falls right off. So it's nifty, it's gimmicky, but to be honest, they did not need to have this much packaging. On the plus side though, it's very sturdy. If it's closed, right, you can't squash that. It's very sturdy plastic. Not a bad product altogether. It looks pretty fun. You're going to be able to easily identify what it is in a drawer because it's clear. And it does include a brush. The brush is not bad. It's a, you know, larger brush. It is flat and it's a little coarser than the high quality makeup brushes you might have. But if you're just beginning, or if you are actually going to travel with it, this brush can work either for contouring or just applying it as foundation all over your skin. I've actually applied it to the undersides of my cheeks using the darker shades as well, and just swirled it all in and applied it to the sides of my forehead. You can't really tell because it's such a light color, but that brush is nice, you know, it's a nice touch. You don't have to use it. It's not the best brush in the world, but it's perfectly good enough for travel. So anyway, that's my review of this Physicians Formula Powder Palette Multicolor Bronzer in Light Bronzer.